brand new executive director at Rise Above, Doug Blume. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, welcome to your new job.
Yeah, it's just about 3.5 weeks, so we just got started. So my background in education, I've worked very closely with Rise Above, so I'm familiar with it, but I'm on the other side of the table now, but enjoying it.
Tell us a little bit about your road to Rise Above and a little bit about your predecessor and founder of Rise Above.
Yeah. You know, I've always worked with youth. I was in camping. I ran sports camps for a lot of years, and a great place for kids to get away out of their environment. Sometimes that's a great place, sometimes it's not a great place. Go experience, challenge themselves, meet new people, learn some skills. So I had a background in that, and I fell in love with it. And then I've just been, whether it's through ministry, I got into counseling. And I counseled in the public schools and coached for 15 years at Vandercook and Northwest, coached at Western, and loved my time there. Still, now that I'm out of coaching, a lot of those guys are still my dear friends. I do a lot of their weddings now. Our relationships are growing through that. But I used Rise Above when I was at Northwest quite a bit. And it was a place where students weren't finding any traction at the school or their environment at home. Maybe choices they're making put them in a spot where they didn't have a place to really thrive, experience leadership. So Rise Above was a place when I was a counselor that a lot of students went and had some great success there. So that's, a little bit of my role. And then, when I left education, I think you and I started talking about this, I went into full-time counseling. I've been counseling for 2 years. A lot of my clients are young adults and students, but a lot of them are older. So when Neil called and told me that this is something that he'd like for me to consider, we moved on it. And as you know, Neil is the backbone. He and his wife, Veronica, we're just doesn't make sense, but moved to cross back over to Canada. And they've not been allowed back here for a couple years now, so they've been trying to work with Rise Above from a distance. So,
I know you were handpicked, and I think for those that have been connected to Rise Above, that's comforting to know that it's continuing in Neil's fashion and Neil's mission.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great foundation. It's been very successful for a lot of years, and I think like any organization, I'm looking forward to this summer to get a chance to, once we get through the end of the year, here in a couple of weeks, take a step back. I've been meeting with superintendents this week, learning about how we can serve their districts, because the students are not our students. They remain the students of the school district. They're just coming to learn from us, learn some social and emotional skills and leadership skills. So.
And Neil and Veronica, we're talking about Neil Fernandez, who founded Rise Above. Your mission, you talk about helping students who have gotten into trouble at school. They end up with like a second chance, right? Because
That's right.
They're expelled. They have a permanently expelled.
Correct.
When you get them.
That's right. Now, that's a little bit of what the organization was started on. That was the vision that Rise Above was started on. Those students, a great example is, you have a student that doesn't come from a big family, or they're new to the area, and they just make a mistake at school and say or do the wrong thing, bring the wrong thing to school. That's 180 days, they're out. And that's what Rise Above initially was. It was for those students that didn't have a place to learn. Now we're realizing that, I know in my role as a school counselor, you could kind of find those students that are heading down that road. And we're asking students or families to take a look and say, hey, listen, I noticed my student's heading down a road, this bigger environment, a larger environment may not be conducive to his learning or her learning success. And so they're calling us ahead of time before those things happen. And it allows us, we have it's about a 1 to 4 to 5 ratio, adults to students, allows us to break down that number, get to know those kids, get to walk with them a little bit through their lives, and speak into them, teach them, learn from them. So it's relational healing is what happens at Rise Above.
I've had a chance to meet and talk to some of the success stories, and
Yeah.
there's a lot. It's amazing. These lives have been rescued. Who knows where these kids would have ended up if they never were able to get even a high school diploma.
Right on. You know, what's been amazing just in the short time that I've been associated with Rise Above is now that I'm in the community, I'm talking to all these families that people pull me aside and go, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got I wanted to make sure I didn't pass, the challenges of my life onto my family. Some people came alongside and helped me. I'd like to help you guys, or I believe in what you're doing, or I've got a name that I'd like to give you. But there's a lot of us walking through streets here that have had some challenges in their lives, and some significant people came in at the right time and provided us a way out. So it's been really neat to hear those stories.
So are you going to be hands-on? Are you going to be more than just executive director? Will you be working one-on-one with the kids?
You know, I just met with Spring Arbor University about that. I'm a product of their counseling department, and I just dropped some hints that I'd like to meet with them this summer. And so we're going to be bringing some counseling in for that. I'm going to be raising money, providing some oversight. We're going to have a great staff that's going to be doing the day-to-day work most.
Yeah, it's it's a nonprofit, and you're funded by the contributions.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Well, that is correct. And then also the schools, remember they're still enrolled in those schools. Mm-hmm. The schools contribute their FTEs that they get for their students to us as well while we have them. So, but primarily we're supported by our community.
How are you on space? Because last time I was over there, it seemed there wasn't free square inch.
Yeah. Do you know what a building, by the way? It's beautiful, and there's been a lot of work that's been in there. Right now, our numbers are really, our space is sufficient for where we're at right now. I think in its height, we had a few more students than we do right now. And some of those unique rooms, if you've been over there, you've seen the room where there's some welding that's taken place, or you see some rooms where there's podcasts that are happening. So we're hoping to breathe some life back into that. Our kids need employability skills when they get out, so we're hoping to utilize some of those rooms and create some new ones.
And this summer, what's summer's like at Rise Above?
You know, typically summer's closed down. And when I met with Neil and interviewed, we talked about maybe starting in the fall. But as we've gotten to know the students, we're going to have a summer program for them in June. So we'll stay connected with them in the relationships. And then I'm going to be starting to meet with those people that support Rise Above and continue to share vision. And we're going to revisit that vision with the board, add some new programming, build on the programming that's working well. But this will be a chance for us to take a deep breath and get ready for the fall.
Great. Well, wish you the best, and thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. The new executive director at Rise Above, Doug Blume.